Off. Hi guys, and welcome to Primetime Mitch, and today I am joined by a special guest to discuss a very special movie. Shaun AKA Moist Strawberry on Instagram. Welcome to Primetime Mitch. How are you doing, my friend?
Cheers. Great to have you, mate. Doing really well. Yeah, just looking forward to chatting about Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Absolutely. Everybody should talk about this. It's to me, it's one of the most fun things that has ever happened. I'm not going to ask like tons of questions. I'm just going to talk generally because I'm actually a little bit upset with myself on this. What was your like first exposure to this movie?
It's really weird, actually. To be fair, it used to get talked about with me and my friends. I used to be a real horror snob. I'd only watch certain horror films. And when one of my friends said, "Oh, watch Killer Clowns from Outer Space," I'm like, "What the hell are you on about? This is going to be absolute garbage." So it took me a while to kind of get around watching it. And then when I watched it, I thought, "This is bloody brilliant. It's got what you want from a horror comedy. It just has everything. You know, so it's a weird experience for me coming around to watching it."
I mean, I at the time, because I sort of started watching horror around about the age of 11,
yeah.
And I always got that buzz and that adrenaline from being scared. So I wanted my horrors to be really terrifying.
Yeah, exactly that, yeah.
Yeah, but it took me a while to sort of adapt to the fact that there were these comedy horror movies out there that had a bit of both. I mean, are you sort of, do you like one and the other, or do you put them all in the same category?
Try and put them all in the same category, to be fair. I do like I like to be shocked and scared now since I've got older. There's a lot of films out there that say, "Oh, it's the scariest movie of all time," and all this stuff. And you watch it and think, "Come on, it's really not." So there's that shock factor for me. But branching off down the kind of comedy horror route is just a bit of fresh air. You haven't got to kind of like take anything seriously. You can sit back, stick it on, enjoy it. You know, it's one of them sort of like guilty pleasure movies. I probably watch Killer Clowns Outer Space maybe twice a year.
Yeah.
So
well, I do now because I was saying I was upset with myself purely because it took me so bloody long to watch it. And I don't know why. I just think it just fell under the radar. And then I remember sort of seeing a bit of seeing the puppets, and I was like, "Wow, that looks really impressive." Really I will get around to that. But I think I'd categorized it sort of, "Oh, I'll bet that's another sort of Puppet Master or Demonic Toys or something like that." And then I got round to watching it 3 years ago.
Oh wow, that's quite late.
I know, and I apologise to anybody if you want to unsubscribe, please don't. But I was like, why have I missed this? Why have I not bothered? So the thing is,
it's almost become a cult classic. I think. I mean, once you sort of like, it's a bit like Terrifier. Once you know there's got pops coming out and figures, you know it's caught that audience. If you start making figures, toys, collectibles, then I think you've definitely hit a certain sort of like spot of people out there. Because with me, I mean, I love collecting toys. I love collecting kind of like pop vinyls and stuff like that.
I can tell.
It adds that to that kind of like thing to the film, doesn't it? You know, there's certain films out there that I can't believe they haven't created certain things. Whether it's kind of just got thrown under the radar a little bit, I'm not too sure. Because like Puppet Master, for example, I know there's like figures. I don't think there's any pop vinyls. If there is, like people like need to shout out and let me know. But
yeah, I think that would have been a good one. I think there's some really iconic designs there. And I think you're right as well, like about the fact that they're bringing out the merchandise, because I mean it's rife now, it's everywhere. I mean, the convention the other week, there was so much stuff, and I think that has really helped push the movie as well. It's like, oh my god, look at the design of that because they had the full head on one of the stalls at For the Love of Horror, and I was just staring at it, and I thought, you know, that is great for anyone that's not seen it. This is doing the publicity for the movie, and more people are going to get on board that cult following, aren't they?
This is what I like about horror films. There's always kind of like, especially with like us on social media, there's always that thing where you'll always hear about a new film, like someone will recommend it, and like bit like yourself, if you like knew about Killer Clowns 3 years ago, then it's just like a new thing. Like, for example, there's certain films out there that no one knows about. They see an Instagram page and just pick it up. and that's what I like about it. There's always that kind of like cult following that someone's going to be introduced to a new film at some point.
It's definitely in horror as well. I mean, it is in movies in general. I mean, I love looking for hidden gems of all genres, but I think with horror, there's just so much for everyone, and there's so much been made out there that isn't quite discovered yet. It's almost like a big ground up, like we're almost archaeologists for horror, aren't we? We're always digging away looking for these gems. I mean, just slightly off topic, but there was a movie that's just gone on Prime right now, and it is a creature feature. And
nice.
I think it's called Food of the Gods or something like that.
Okay.
And I watched it. My dad likes to watch obscure movies at home. It's all he does all morning from like 6 a.m. till 12. He's just watching school and crazy films. And this movie was about like animals taking over this small woodland house because of stuff in the lakes or whatever, some genetic thing.
Yeah.
But they use like real rats and a small miniature house to create this effect that they're...
Oh, wow. That sounds brilliant. Yeah.
Brilliant. And it's just gone on Prime. But that's the kind of thing with Killer Clowns. All I needed was like, I walked through the room while he was watching it, 2 minutes. I want to see the rest of this. All you need is that little bit of exposure. And there's so many in horror to look for. Yeah,
definitely. It's all like the costumes as well. I think even like when I first sort of like my mate showed me about it, I thought, oh, this is going to be really pants. But like the little like clowns wandering around, it's just hilarious. It's just such a good movie. You've got, I think the characters, even like the other day I was looking at and this is probably like, I don't know, I've watched it so many times. Even the names of the characters, like Mike Tobacco, Debbie Stone, they sound like cheap porno names. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know if it's like that was meant to be. Like, I think it was definitely a sci-fi horror, and the comedy kind of just came with it. I think
it's a bizarre film. I'm glad you mentioned actually the cast, the characters, because it is a really random cast of people who've sort of mainly done quite a lot of television work.
Yeah.
Apart from John Vernon, who I absolutely love in this movie.
He's
got an
amazing,
isn't he? Yeah, he's got an amazing body of work. But everybody else is sort of just, that's the moment. You know, I did Killer Clowns. Who's your favorite character?
What in the film?
Yeah.
Probably, definitely John Vernon's character Mooney. It has to be. He's such an arsehole, but he's so funny.
He's a likable arsehole. He's absolutely...
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
You know, I love some of the quotes in this. I'd love to see somebody with a T-shirt of this movie with just him quoting something and then a clown behind him or something like that. I
that'd be great.
Hysterical.
Well, it's going to take a hell of a lot more than a lame prank like this to get Curtis Mooney to throw in his badge. So f*** you. Over.
I don't often do too much research because I like an organic chat. Whole point of the channel is average movie lover, so I don't want to be turned into a film student. But I did do a little bit of research, and like you've got the two guys, like the two ice cream guys.
Yeah.
And one of them ridiculously moved from doing Killer Clowns and stuff in LA to doing Coronation Street.
Oh wow, really?
Mike Seeger, yeah, he's been in a variety of UK drama productions on television and stuff now, and he's even been on that, and I just find that amazing how you can take that jump.
Yeah, that's crazy. And it's also like the other, like they've got John Allen Nelson as well as the other officer. Obviously, he's in like 24 and My Crazy Ex-Girlfriend and stuff like that. So, and I think the other cast, like you say, they've done small things. I mean, Grant Kramer was in New Year's Evil. I clocked that the other time when I watched. Well, that's him from Killer Clowns, and rather than you probably like some horror fan would like do it the other way around. Oh, that's him for New Year's Evil. Do you know? Do
you do that a lot? Because I do it all the time. I can.
Oh, me and my wife, we sit there and go, "Oh, who is this person? Yeah. Who is this person?" And then we're like, "Oh my word, it's that!" Yeah.
It's one of the very few skills I will absolutely admit to having, because I'm quite modest about anything, but that is like I will spot people.
Oh, do you cock it straight away?
Oh yeah, and see them. Like I think I spotted one guy who was a child in something else decades before, and stuff. And some of it's really obscure work as well. It's almost turned into a hobby but
I know. Well, what got me was Taylor Momsen from The Grinch. When I found out she was the lead singer of The Pretty Reckless, I was like, wow, that's mad.
When did you say you first watched this again?
God, I'd say 15 years ago, something like that.
Had you watched films similar, like around it, that sort of almost preempted you enjoying this?
Possibly a little bit. I mean, I obviously liked like It and things like that, like Puppet Master, Dolls and things like that. So I'm guessing it probably did like entice me a little bit more. So yeah, I'm glad I did watch it, but I think like my first thoughts was like, this is going to be garbage. But sometimes like a horror film, you watch it and it does look pretty pants, but it turns out to be like really, really good fun. I mean, I got into horror when I was really young. I think I watched The Exorcist when I was 7 with my nan. Like, I probably shouldn't have done, like, staying around the house, like didn't want to go to bed, lied on the sofa, and maybe it's since then I've become a crazy horror fan. I don't know, embedded in my head.
I think you've got to be crazy to be a horror fan, and it's a good crazy, obviously.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? Like, I mean, you get them people that don't watch horror films. I just don't get it. I mean, they're not for everyone, but yeah, I'd never have it any other way. So we're definitely. I mean, I'm into loads of genres, but this is definitely my top genre.
Yeah, I think it's about how you go into it. Is what mentality you walk into a horror film with. If you go in with a view to review, you're probably going to be disappointed a lot of the time. But if you go in with just I want to have a bit of fun today, I want my mind opening a little bit, then you enjoy them. I just think it's attitude, really.
Yeah, 100%. And I think when you watch these films, you can't, you get like the recommendations like this film is like so and so. I mean, I watched a couple of clown films, one called Killjoy. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's bonkers. It's bad. It is bad. It's really bad.
I think I know which one you mean, and I don't think I've finished it.
Yeah,
I don't.
There's loads of them. There's about 6 of them, and I think it is a good concept because you get kind of like films at like different like Jack in the Box I watched the other day. I thought that was okay. So there's always that thing where it's a bit of a snowball effect. You kind of like branch out and you go down like a rabbit hole and find other films. So I think there is that good thing about it.
I don't think there's a lot now you can compare it to, because I suppose if you're terrified of clowns, then that's a different story. But I mean, I personally think, other than the original It, which terrified me as a kid, I've never really been too scared of clowns. I think the only clown movie that's actually unsettled me was Clown, where he gradually becomes one. I thought that was a genuinely good horror.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can compare this. I think you can compare sort of styles and how it looks. I mean, I always look at this movie and think of The Blob.
Yeah, The Blob, yeah.
Yeah, which I think is scarier, but it's a similar look and a similar sort of era, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah. But yeah, you're right. I think it's quite original, to be fair. There's not many films about like really weird looking clowns killing people. I mean, like it with Pennywise, like you say, it's a bit more sadistic, where these like are really sort of, they don't even look scary, do they? I mean, they look more comedic than
I think and I think it was intentional as well. I mean, I'm guessing you're like me with practical effects, and
100%. Yeah,
I think most horror fans are like that, though, aren't they?
Yeah, and also I think the score doesn't get talked about enough from John Mazzari. He's one person I love at a con. I love to meet him. I know he does the American cons quite a lot, but I really plug for the love of horror to get him, whether they will or not at some point. But like, I thought the soundtrack was brilliant.
Well, he stuck by it at the movie as well, didn't he? He got a lot of critics. They said this is going to be terrible, and he was like, "No, you don't get it. It's going to be amazing. People are going to."
Yeah, and now he's made a career about it. I think there's a game coming out. I don't know if it's came out, but there's a game about it, and I think he's doing the music on that as well.
Fantastic.
So yeah, it's really good that someone can
with
kind
the Dickies song as well is going to be involved.
Yeah, I think that's the one. Yeah. So it's good to kind of have that. I think I don't think he's done anything else. And I mean, quote me wrong, but I think this is pretty much what all he's done is Killer Clowns. Whether he's done anything else, I'm not too sure.
The way it's sort of escalated into this cult classic, now I don't think he needs to do anything else.
No, you're right. Yeah.
Live off conventions forever, I think.
That's it. Yeah, 100%.
Talking about like the fact that the Chiodo brothers directing it's their movie. This isn't just something they've added their skills to. But I loved some of the stuff, because I was watching a video not long back. I think it was Stephen who was talking on it, and he was talking about the use of stop motion and comparing it to the computer generated stuff, and it came out with some of the best stuff I've heard. Like, it said something, it doesn't matter how real CGI is, it will always be fake, and it doesn't matter how fake stop motion is, it will always be real.
Yeah,
and I love that.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, can you not feel the attitude in that movie, that they are just, everything is just, it's just a complete masterclass of practical skill.
Yeah, 100%. It's really it's put together so well, and I love the originality of it. Like all these films that have like too over the top CGI, it really frustrates me. Like Michael Bay, like he really grates my gears. Like some of his earlier stuff was okay, but now he just adds explosions for no reason at all, and it loses that kind of like nostalgia and authenticity to it. So this is definitely out there for that.
Well, I think the puppets themselves, or certainly the way that their faces move. I think he talks about the fact that now they do too much because they can. I've always said that because we've got so much now, we have to use all of it. But he said like the over enunciation of the mouth and things like that on the clowns, they literally just open and shut, don't they? But he said that's sometimes enough, because if you use too much, people are looking at the mouth, and that's the least important part of the performance.
100%. And he's got them down to the TV, even the way they sort of like move around. You know, there's a scene where I think it's just after the big top scene where they're walking down the road to the town. They actually walk like their big feet, and they've actually completely actually walk like how clowns would walk. Yeah,
I can't imagine there's any performing clowns out there that dislike this movie, because they use so much of the clown traits. You know, like they use the popcorn and the candy floss and the tricks and things like that, and all the stuff they would do. They use it all, and also, like you said, the movements. Yeah,
and it's the puppetry scene is brilliant as well. You know, where they're all sitting at the bus stop and they're doing the thing, and then I don't know, so I guess it's like a dinosaur or something that like eats them. Yeah, it's just brilliant. It's so original. It's stupid, but it works. It's so great.
I was going to ask you what your favourite scene is.
Probably one of that's probably one of them. Yeah,
Same.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I love it. But that was a bit actually that when I showed because I wanted my dad to see this movie, because I know I thought he'd like it, and he loved that scene.
Yeah,
that was the most original sort of, it
was so well done.
Shadow,
because I remember puppetry when I was a kid, like doing that on the wall of my bedroom and stuff, and like to see that in a film, it was just great.
Did you have a specific one you could do? Mine was always a swan.
Yeah, it was an easy one, wasn't it?
Yeah, that one, wasn't it, or something? Or,
yeah.
It was either that or the obvious bird, but
bird, butterfly and stuff. Yeah,
I think the great thing about that scene is how ironic it is, because the size of the fingers, there's no way they could create those kind of shapes. Giant sausages, Well, I'll just ask you a question now, because you've got a nice backdrop there. But what sort of stuff have you collected of Killer Clowns? Have you got any yet, or are you planning a big haul?
Yeah, so I've got a couple of the pops. I've got quite a few of them now. But then I know they've released the NECA toys, the actual like figures from NECA.
Yeah.
I always see them in Forbidden Planet, and I think I'm going to be picking up them soon. It's just space and stuff. I've got so much stuff that just sits in storage of like my horror collectibles, and just haven't got the space. But I think once we move house, I'm going to try and get like a little horror room going and display all my stuff and stuff, because it's silly to just have it in cupboards. I really want to sort of like show it off, display it,
Yeah, I mean we're moving sort of the back end of this year, and we've got an opportunity to have a studio, although this is just thrown together. I threw this together in a couple of months so I had something. But I really want the space, because I have got a bunch of figurines and things I want to display, and I can't really do anything with them apart from when I'm on camera. I could just like stick them behind the keyboard over there, but it's not practical throughout the day.
Yeah. But no, I met Grant Kramer and Suzanne Schneider for the Love of Horror a couple of years ago.
Oh.
Yeah, they were really nice people. Well, Grant Kramer was a bit off actually. Maybe he just had an off day. But Suzanne Schneider, I've got in there pretty early, because I get into a convention, I do all my autographs, and then hope they're done, and then I can sort of plan the shoots out afterwards. But we was chatting about the flights and stuff, and even she was saying when she got the script for that movie, she thought it was so bonkers that she couldn't turn it down. I thought that was really cool, and it was really nice to speak to her. So I've got the Blu-ray signed with all their signatures on it.
I like that she said that, because that is noticing that a movie with character, people remember it. It will always be remembered. It's not going to be lost in the annals or something. And I think the sillier it is, the more people are going to stand up and take notice, and you want to be part of that, I would think.
Yeah, definitely. It's like the popcorn thing, with all the gun which shoots all like cotton candy over everyone. It's just, you're going to remember that, aren't you? It's going to stick with you and stuff. So yeah, it was so well put together, I thought.
Talked earlier about how I like to be afraid and scared of horror, because I was a bit later to comedy horror than I was actual horror.
Yeah.
Do you think there's some actual horror moments in this that on their own are quite scary or chilling?
I guess yes. I think if you're sort of in in the moment and at that time when you see a massive sort of like big top just appear from nowhere, and then like sort of like these little like creepy clowns started walking around, you would, I mean, if you was in the moment, yeah, you'd be like sort of like shitting yourself. You'd be thinking, well, what the hell is going on? And I think I'm guessing when they sort of like try and take over the town, they like, you know, so it's wandering around this little town, and the creepy bit is in the restaurant, and there's the little kids, and they obviously like the clowns are trying to entice them in. If you're a little kid, obviously you see a clown, you're going to be amazed by it and go off. And if you think it in that aspect, where if you're a kid and you see a clown, then that is really creepy and like really making you think. So yeah, I think there is definitely elements to it, and they do look, when you say when the smile comes on some of them, they do look really
evil,
eerie. They're really evil. Yeah. Oh, I don't know if I hate to say this because I don't really like sequels and remakes and things, but I think I'd like to see a sequel or something, maybe like a little short film, or I don't know, something to kind of add on to it. But it is good for what it is. I don't think it's needed, but maybe like I would like to see something like
just
come
curiosity, isn't it?
Curiosity. Yeah.
I mean, you're right about the kid in the restaurant thing. I think if it requires you to actually go, hold on a minute, look at this situation, then it becomes scary, because you sort of get that adrenaline. I'm loving this. This is really fun. And then something like that happens and you just laugh it off. But then you go, actually, that's terrifying. You know, if you put Ronald McDonald out there, that would be terrifying. You know, so
yeah, I know what you mean. I'm really surprised no one's done that, like a Ronald McDonald killer thing, because I've seen like things on YouTube and stuff where people dress up as him and make it kind of really creepy and stuff. That's I'm surprised that hasn't been done, like a Ronald McDonald killer clown sort of.
Watch this space. I reckon there's definitely a pull for it. I think it might be a bit commercial though. There's got to be some legal things going on there for that to happen. Maybe.
Yeah, it's a bit like the guys that are doing like the Winnie the Pooh films and like Cinderella, Peter Pan. I met a couple of them at the Prince Charles Cinema, and basically they just want to do a fresh thing to like kids' films and make it like dark and stuff. And they were getting really kind of like ridiculed for it, and like they were getting so many comments like, "You're killing our childhood. Winnie the Pooh is this nice little bear," and all this stuff. But I'm thinking it's such a cool way to bring it. It's so fresh and original. I know you're kind of taking a story, but you're adapting it. You're making it different and stuff. Whereas certain remakes and stuff, for me, like, you know, they're talking about remaking all these films and stuff. Like, it doesn't need it because the story's there, and all you're doing really is just giving it a fresh feel. You're not really doing anything to the story or changing the scenes or the aspects or anything of it. So when they do this, you're taking a cartoon, making it like a killer kind of serial killer bear. It's just brilliant, I thought.
I think. Well, I've always believed that that a lot of kids stuff, certainly from back in decades before, is some of the scariest stuff around. I mean, you've even got to look at what the actual Grimm tales were about. You know, before they sanitized them, and some of those are absolutely horrific. I was scared when I was a kid. I walked into when I was first starting with horror. And there was a video section at the back, and it was all the horrors, and I was really excited. I got to stand for 5 minutes and look through all these VHSs. But there was one cover that scared me. I didn't want to pick it up, and that was the Rumpelstiltskin.
Oh yeah.
I thought that's a kid's thing. I don't like that. They've twisted it, and it said like, "This ain't no fairy tale."
Yeah,
like, that's horrible. Some more of that.
Definitely, yeah, agreed. And like, I don't know if you've seen Watership Down. Some of the scenes in that where the rabbits are getting like eaten alive and stuff. This is not a kids' film. This is mental.
I will direct you to my scary scenes in non-horror video, and that is right at number 1. The whole film, not just a scene.
Oh really?
Oh mate, I can't even talk about. I can't mention that
it's
film's
gnarly,
name to my part to Amy. I can't. She won't accept it.
Yeah, terrifying. It is gnarly. Like it's not, I don't know how they got away. It's a you, I think, as well.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
You,
yeah,
I mean, not even PG. I would feel bad watching that with my. Luckily, I watched that when I was sort of 9.
Yeah, probably about the time.
Yeah, if I watched that at 5 or 6.
Yeah, it's hard with kids and stuff. Because obviously, Leo's my boy's like 8. He kind of watches like he doesn't really watch horrors, but he's watched like Monster House, Night Before Christmas, Frankenweenie, Carolyn, and stuff like that. But I don't know what age you kind of enjoy. I mean, like I said, I picked up horror when I was like 6 or 7 accidentally. I'm guessing. I think it's just down to the parent and stuff. I think it's the kid. If you're going to be shocked, I mean, like you said, I love a film where I like to be shocked. Like certain films, people say, watch this film, you're going to be shocked. I'm like, it's not that bad. Unless I've just got a strong stomach. I'm not too sure.
I think a lot of horror recently has been suffering because of those. This is off topic a bit, but it's been suffering because of those taglines, you know, that you see on the posters. This is the scariest movie you'll see all year. And they did it with long legs. They've done it with presents, and it doesn't help the movie. People don't get to go in with that open mind. They go in with an expectation.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Like the thing is with long legs, I sat there and watched it. I like it, but I was expecting more. I don't know if that was because of that. I just thought I come out a bit disappointed. Yeah, I think you just kind of get like, what's the word? Like drawn in and overly kind of you expect it to be better than it is, and you kind of get hyped up for it.
Yeah.
I mean, Nicolas Cage's character I thought was great. Other than that, I was a bit disappointed by it. But people saying, "Oh, it's my film of the year" and stuff. Each their own. But maybe I need to give it another watch.
Yeah, I did. I was planning on doing a proper video on that at some point because I have got feelings about it that and things I think would have improved it. But you know, and certainly the marketing is one of them. Back to the clowns. Is there a difference in the terms in terms of the placement of the words between a horror comedy and a comedy horror?
Good question. That's a great question. Yeah,
I've only thought about that this second, so I'm quite
just now. Yeah, that's a really good question. I think if you with horror, like a comedy horror, I'm guessing what you want to try and do is you want to try to push it as a comedy and have them horror aspects to it. And like I said, if I'm going into Killer Clowns, I'm guessing as a newbie, and I've seen the trailer and I've seen the thing, then you're going to think it's a comedy. Yeah. But it does have that horror elements to it, like you say, the scary clowns, the scary scenes, and stuff like that. Whereas I know there's certain, like for me, like stuff like Evil Dead, Ash vs Evil Dead, the series. For me, Evil Dead is terrifying when I first saw it. Then Ash versus Evil Dead is that comedy horror aspect. So I'm guessing as you're a director, you've got to kind of try and what genre you're trying to push on people. And I think to have that balance of comedy and horror is just excellent because you like to be entertained, you like to be shocked, you like to be terrified. But it's all about having fun when you're watching a movie. You need to engage the crowd, laugh, cry, or whatever, be shocked. So yeah, I think it's just down to the director how they want to push the movie.
I when I think of Killer Clowns, the scene, if I want to go in and go, this scared me, or I found this a bit creepy.
Yeah,
I would have said the thing you said about the child, but I would have gone with the puppetry when they have him on like a ventriloquist dummy.
Yeah,
because that was genuinely creepy imagery to see them messing with this his mouth and him
stuff.
smiling maniacally. I thought that was great, but those moments are sort of there just to remind you that this is a bit of a horror.
Oh yeah,
but I think overall it's the comedy, and I think they're okay, they're safe because this is kind of a one-off movie. I find it bizarre, like you mentioned Evil Dead, when they start off frightening and then they go down the comedy route because you're asking people to adjust.
Yeah, it's a bit like the Terrified films. They're obviously, don't get me wrong, they're shocking. Some of the scenes are like really gnarly and stuff. But it's for me that's a comedy horror because Art the Clown, you can't take him seriously when he's in the shop and his dangling eyes are coming out and he does like he honks the horn and stuff. It's just you have to add whether it's a comedy horror, is it a horror comedy.
Do you think they balance art by having him do the things he does to people to sort of neutralize it? Because otherwise you're going to look at him in the way you say, you know, where he just looks ridiculous with the eyes and with the hat, the Santa stuff and everything. They do the other stuff, so it's like, actually, you really don't want to be in the same place as this guy. And I think,
you need that balance because otherwise it will just lose that kind of like, you won't be able to take him too seriously. At the end of the day, he is a statistic guy. He's going around killing kids. He just doesn't give a who he kills. But then if he's just standing around with his dangling eyes, his Santa suit, then you're just going to lose the film's kind of what they're trying to push, I guess. Because it is a sadistic horror. Like some of the stuff he does is gnarly, but then it does have it like that comedy aspect. So I think when you're a director, you've got to really try and think what you're trying to push. But adding that comedy element into it, I think is definitely a good shout for most films. To be unfair,
I think it helps the fact that when you look at the Killer Clowns posters or the shots that the promotional shots, whatever they had out there, you've got these evil looking clowns that would be terrifying to somebody who has a fear of clowns.
Yeah.
You've also got those guns in their hands and things like that, and it's like, this is going to be a bit more of a comedy. I mean, I believe they put the From Outer Space bit in to stop it looking like it was supposed to be a slasher.
Oh, really?
That's what I've read. I don't know how true that is, but it does make sense, I suppose.
It does, yeah. Because obviously this tent comes out of nowhere, doesn't it? Like, and kind of to add that like from outer space, because you don't know where they've come from. They've just appeared. And like Officer Mooney's character, when he first gets told about it, he's not having it, is he? He's like, no, these killer clowns, what are you all on? You're all crazy. You're just kids. You're high. You're drunk and stuff. Yeah. So I kind of see why they added that in at the end.
Yeah, because I mean, if I went out and they said, "Oh, we've got this movie, Killer Clowns," I'm expecting clowns running around murdering people.
Yeah, yeah.
But with From Outer Space, suddenly it's like, what the hell are we going to get here? So
I know, yeah. They got
that.
Yeah, they got the silly little guns that shoot out the lasers and stuff, and like the cotton candy, the popcorn. Yeah, it's brilliant. It's so original, so original. And like, you can actually buy the gun. Like, that's one thing I really want is a little gun you can buy. I keep on seeing it at conventions. I'm going to definitely pick it up at some point, I think.
Yeah, I definitely when I move, that is the first series I'm going to start looking at in terms of getting
figures and pops and things
for the room, because it adds color as well. I mean, that's another thing. The color.
It's so colorful, isn't it? The colors of the film, yeah, it's so bright. They've made the clowns like really, and it's not your typical like clowny colors. They made it kind of like they're all different. Like there's so many of them. I didn't know there was so many clowns because there's so many pops, and I can't remember counting that many clowns in the film. But there must be.
There's not even any like cut scenes, is it? Well, we cut this clown out the movie or this clown out the movie. They've got to be there somewhere.
Yeah, because there's a lot of them. I think apparently when they first come down, you do see them a lot of them like walk around and walk off, because there's Shorty and then there's Rudy. I thought they were the same clown, but now they're two different ones. Then there's Chubby and Fatso, and yeah, it's.
I wonder if they have this problem when they're communicating. You know.
Yeah, which one we're talking to? Yeah,
I like the little one that boxes his head off. That's another great scene.
Great. Yeah,
I actually was okay with that because I didn't like them destroying his bike.
No, I know. Yeah,
I actually sided with them then. I wasn't happy.
Yeah, 100%. I know. I thought he was going to get his bike tarnished. And I
hoped. I was almost a bit sad that he just left it at that, and that the other ones run off. I'd have done them all in me.
Yeah, that's what he should have done. Yeah, like he should have got like an extended glove, just to, like knock one of them out or something.
With the little metal concertina thing.
Yeah,
like the Tom and Jerry thing.
Yeah.
Little quick chat on the final sort of the finale of this movie.
Yeah.
Because I always, as a wrestling fan, I pop for the big giant boss clown at the end, because it reminds me of video game bosses, you know, like Streets of Rage and stuff, and they used to just this huge thing used to appear at the end.
Yeah, at the end, yeah.
How good is that scene? I think it's wonderful.
Oh yeah, same. If you've touched it on the head, it does remind me like a computer game. Like you're sort of you've done all the hard work. You found out about all the clowns. You kind of killed what you need to kill. The town's now terrified, and then you've now got this massive big head thing kind of come out of nowhere, and it is like a computer game. You know, like Double Dragon. You're literally endlessly butting the buttons, and you come against this massive big blimmin' thing that you're just like constantly just tapping away. So maybe that's where they got the aspect from it. You know, like maybe, a big kind of like killer boss at the end. And
yeah, because 88 like that would have been on the cusp of some of like the Mega Drive and stuff like that. But so that's an interesting theory. I also love the fact that it's a real guy as well, and it's miniatures.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, they have a real guy in this suit with a head, and he picks up this small ambulance, which is sort of, I don't know, it's like the size of a table or something.
Yeah.
Launches it, and they keep sort of there's shots of it being like done over and over again till he gets the right kind of throw. It's fantastic.
Oh, that's great. I don't know that.
Stop motion, and they went for the real guy.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
I don't know which would have been better, because I find stop motion to be quite scary. I don't like unnatural sort of jerky movement.
I know. Well, I recently watched the stop motion film on Shudder, and I thought that was bloody terrifying.
Did you like
film. That? I quite liked it. Yeah, a lot of people didn't. I thought it was really original, and like the way the little figures moved around, like creepy things like that, little like doll houses and figures and stuff, really creeps me out. Like I watched the is it the not Hell House, like Bly Manor and stuff like that. That's all like kind of little dolly things, and it turns into real life. And there was an episode on The Wife That She Got Me Into Supernatural, where these little like dolls are moving around this house, and they're sitting there like the actual person, and then it turns into the real life person. I think that's so well done, because it creeps you out, and it's so, because this little kid's playing around with the dolls. But what he doesn't realise is they're turning it into actually a real life experience, which is great.
I mean, it's old as time, stop motion, really. I mean, I remember, and I always hark back to this, because not many things have genuinely terrified me. But there was a movie in 1972 called Asylum. It's a British movie. And there's a guy in there. Have you seen it?
It rings a bell. I don't know if has it got Malcolm McDowell in it?
He would have done similar films, but it's not this one.
Oh, okay.
So this one has I'm terrified by the last minute of the film.
Yeah.
Everything else I can watch, but I have to leave the room for the last minute. Yeah, you will find that out if you watch it. It's out there somewhere.
Yeah.
It might even be on YouTube.
Yeah, that's watch it. Yeah.
There's a guy making small figures of people with little robot bodies, and the heads are look like the people, and they think he's insane because he's just making these. These things are alive. They're I'm making them out.
Yeah.
And when they stand on one, because they've got it moving and walking, I'm pretty sure that was stop motion. And they stand on one, and it's got the actual organs in it that he's created. It's phenomenally.
Wow,
good.
that sounds terrifying. Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure the movement of that figure and the way it was lifting its arms was stop motion. That's 1972, so it's a very old practice.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But the stop motion film itself, I loved the stop motion aspect of it. I loved how she was creating those scenes and how creepy it was. That it was sort of
a little doll. Yeah.
Yeah, it was more the human bit I didn't like. I wasn't really that bothered about her and the rest of them. I just liked the stop motion.
Maybe a full stop motion film. Maybe it would have made it a bit more.
Oh, great! Yeah, definitely. I'd be on board that. They do a lot of anthology horror now with stop motion. I'm pretty sure, like some. Yeah, I think what was the one when it was like 100? They counted up to 100. It was a Halloween anthology or something. Can you remember? Am I right?
Yeah, I think I know what you mean. It was like a little story for each one.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
Yeah, and that was, and some of those were just pure stop motion and quite grotesque as well. But they can do grotesque really well.
Yeah,
and
really well done.
Dead thrives as well, isn't it? Is a stop.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Right, we need more stop motion movies because then we can do more videos talking about them.
Stop motion, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. The old ways are the best. It's like I said, it creates. I think it's got a style to it. It's a bit like I'll harp on about CGI forever, but the thing about stop motion and practical effects, and particularly stop motion, is it has a style and it creates a fantasy.
Yeah, 100%. Because with somebody, you're like taking it like step by step. So I think you're putting a lot more effort into it. In my opinion, it makes it more sort of real.
It's almost dreamlike sometimes.
Dreamlike, like you're in another scenario.
Yeah, things skip on and movements are a bit sort of jagged and weird, and I think that's what it becomes. It becomes like a fantasy I'm playing, unfolding in front of me.
A dream scenario. Yeah. Because I love how films they do like Fantastic Mr. Fox. I know we're completely off topic now.
That's good.
But I think that's really well done and things like that. Because it's different and the imagery to it, I find really fascinating. Because I just get a bit bored of the same old thing. I like something original and that's going to stand out a little bit. Yeah. And I like some films. I'm trying to think of one where sometimes they do a little bit in a cartoon and then the sort of film goes into like real and then back to the cartoon and.
The original for me, or certainly wanted for my viewing, it was Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Wasn't it?
Classic. That's fantastic. Yeah, fantastic.
Also quite creepy in parts as well. Again, I put that in my list of non-horror scares because there's that. It's Lena f***ing Hyena.
Yeah. Again, going off topic a bit, one of my favourite videos, Follow the Leader by Korn, where they got the little girl and she's like going up to the heaven in the hopscotch and all that lot. The artist who has done that is really, really fascinating. So I'd like to find a bit more what he does.
Well, hopefully now sort of people are discovering cult films like this and the methods that we used back then that we might see a bit more now because people sort of there might be a new cry for it. I'm hoping anyway.
Yeah, let's hope so. Because I think we don't want these films to sort of like fade out. I think it's got a massive cult following now, isn't it? But you're always going to see like the cons and stuff like T-shirts and figures and things. But yeah, you're right. I'd like to see a lot more films like this.
We are getting more practical effects recently, I've noticed, which is pleasing. So that's a start at least. And then maybe we can add the rest as we go along. But
yeah, definitely.
Hope. Shaun, thank you very much for joining me today.
No, thank you for having me, mate. Really appreciate it.
I'd like to ask though is if you were, this is just off the cuff. I've not thought of it myself. But if you were to say to a complete neutral walking into this movie, what would be your sort of line to draw them in? Really, like as a PR sell.
I'd probably say, I don't want to be generic, but like fun, entertaining, with a cusp of horror that you're going to remember forever for all the right reasons.
That's it. It's a memorable, isn't it? That's what matters the most. And you're never going to forget a load of big rubber clowns shooting.
Yeah, you're never going to get it. So, you're in a chat with your mates, like where killer clowns overtake a town and they kill people with a cotton candy gun.
Yeah.
And popcorn kind of like sticks to people and harms them. Yeah, it's just out of this world bonkers. So
Out of this world, and they came from space.
And they come from space.
Forget.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Thanks, Shaun. Anyway, I really appreciated today's chat. I hope anybody out there who enjoys this movie has enjoyed a casual chat about what I believe to be a cult classic. I don't think that really needs any argument, to be honest. Would you like to just spend a minute or so just telling us where we can find your channel and what your pages and what you do? Because I enjoy your content, and I think many others should as well.
Yeah, I really appreciate the kind words. Yeah, so I'm over at Moist Strawberry on Instagram. I don't really have any other social media. I got rid of Twitter and stuff because that was kind of more like wrestling focused and stuff, which I am a massive wrestling fan, a massive football fan as well. But I do try and keep this page as much horror content as I can. But I am going to try and kind of push that. I mean, I've got so much wrestling to talk about. I'm trying to pull that back a little bit, so I'm not just focused on the horror. But yeah, I appreciate the comments and the follows and people. I really like engaging with new followers, talking about all things horror, and yeah, appreciate the kind words, Mitch, and it's been a pleasure to have you have me on the channel.
Likewise, and I do encourage anybody watching this to check the links below. It'll all be in the description. Go check out Moist Strawberry because he is a very welcome addition to every morning when I put on Instagram and I want to see some knowledgeable content on horror. He is always there to provide it, be that stories and posts, so please check him out. Also, guys, if you enjoyed this conversation, this chat, please drop a like below and hit that subscribe button, that notification bell. There'll be plenty more videos coming up. Now I am fit and healthy again. But for now, this is my conversation about Killer Clowns with Moist Strawberry. Thank you, guys. And what's your tagline, Shaun?
Stay creepy.
Stay creepy indeed. Thank you very much. Take care.
Cheers.
Everyone.
Thanks a lot.